welcome to the CRV family now with Vercel. Thank you, my friend, for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me, James. Happy to be here.
We wanted to kick off these series with a number of the security experts and leaders in the world. As a security leader, as one of the most important AI companies in the Valley, really wanted to have you come in and just get your perspective on modern era, the modern security stack, how AI is changing and influencing organizations.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. Yeah, I think background-wise, I've always been in infrastructure and open source security companies. Started my career at Microsoft, helped them build some cloud security tools, then moved to the Valley, did some startups. Before Vercel, I was at HashiCorp. Joined them, I think, at employee 300 something.
That's where we met.
Yeah, and it was an awesome learning experience. Building, scaling, going public, post-public, IBM acquisition.
I'm curious, you could have done anything coming out of IBM. So why Vercel and
Yeah, no, I think interest-wise, I've always been a builder. I love the startup ecosystem. That's where we had a number of companies that we also had shared interests and partners with. Coming out of IBM, I think just I've always been drawn to growth stage, highly technology-centric, modern companies, dev tools, infrastructure, open source. That's where my heart belongs. And I was already a Vercel customer.
I was about to say, were you a customer and a user?
Yeah. At HashiCorp, we were using Vercel.
Must have been one of the early customers, I think.
And I was always experimenting. I love the design ethos and the principles for the web and the community and the practitioner tooling. So when I met G and we talked about the needs and just stars aligned, for lack of a better word. Growth stage companies, my experience in infrastructure, open source, and Vercel just felt like the right place to be.
Well, I'll speak for mostly myself because that tends to what I do, but we're very fortunate that you joined. So thank you. And again, you could have done anything. And if you weren't going to join CRV, I'm glad you joined Vercel. As I talked to you at the time, but also just generally to executives, you want to know what you're getting into, right? Like, you don't want someone, you spend this long time searching for a role and then you hire someone. But how has the actual job been?
Yeah, I would say most of it was actually not surprising in the sense that when I was a Vercel customer, I was always asking them, hey, here is the roadmap I need.
Yeah.
Here are all the requirements I need. I need more features around this. I need more better tooling around this. So coming in, I think I already came with some sort of like a mandate of like, hey, here are improvements I need to build around security, enterprise readiness, compliance. And growth stage, builder stage companies, you sometimes don't know what you're getting into. So I would say, like, I think overall 60-70% had been predictable.
Cool.
Other 30%, which was unpredictable, has been positively inspiring.
That's
all
awesome.
The AI growth, all the market orientation, the post, what I call the post Opus world, which is like there's the pre
and post Mythos world.
Yeah, Mythos world too. So exactly, I think the innovation in the space and the pace and the change that has always been exciting. I didn't knew how fast the market would move.
Yeah.
I could not have predicted this back in October, but I'm glad I jumped the leap in.
And for the the CISOs who are out there listening to this and are involved, like, how do you think the role of the CISO is going to change, like, over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think different companies have different flavors of CISOs. It's not like one size fits all.
And the Vercel CISO is also unique on its own.
Yeah. I think, like, for technology companies, like, you have to be closer to the product. You have to influence the direction, especially in the developer ecosystem, where what kind of feature set your practitioners need. You're building on Vercel, for Vercel, and Vercel customers.
Yeah.
So there's natural orientation to, like, the roadmap in itself. I think the way I think about the CISO role in general is some of the technology adoption curve, I think, is basically shrinking, right? So CISOs have to now actually jump on the bandwagon much more quicker. When you look at, like, the journeys people took with cloud, it took like many years. The AI adoption journey is like much faster, much quicker, and it's happening across the world. So it's not like there's class of companies who are like cloud native and they're going to be 5 years ahead. Like everybody in the world is now experimenting with AI. So
I assume you, like a lot of fast moving companies, are having to say yes to all these adoption of AI tools.
Yeah.
Like, how are you managing that? How are you saying no to the right things? Like, do you find yourself saying no a lot? Like,
no, I think it's the way I think about this is meet where the market is and meet where your practitioner is. Obviously, I think it's meant with like what's the right risk tolerance and what are the right guardrails in which specific areas and helping both build and deploy and use AI safely. But in terms of, again, we are building these tools for our customers too. So we are customer zero. And my mandate to my team is like, yes, you're not the department of no, you're the department of customer zero. You're basically the zero adoption. You will help shape up the product experience and the controls and the security features which are needed.
I'm going to steal that as a quote.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about your time, and not unlike VC, you can find yourself doing anything. Like, where do you find yourself spending time on that maybe non-obvious for the people listening?
I would say most of my time is actually spent working with our product organization and technology and technology adoption and shaping up. I mean, how AI is changing and how much new interesting developments are happening. So like keeping up with both the product and the product direction, meeting our customers, meeting our stakeholders in the company. Obviously, I joined last year, so
I assume you're not writing code. If they are, they're taking.
I am actually. So I think lots of people in our company write code.
Amazing.
Build things. I wouldn't say like I write code 100% of the time, but I do wipe code a lot, almost daily. I think even our.
Are you out there like speaking to the laptop?
Yeah. I mean, our business teams are also writing code. I mean, you see like how the SaaS. The whole SaaS ecosystem is getting disrupted where the pool of people who can now build applications which are unique and actually more tailored to their needs, that has been like fantastic. So yes, I am building on Vercel, experimenting on Vercel. That's the best way to see like where the shortcomings are and what you need to improve.
That's awesome. And where what security investment have you made in either in the org or in the product or even releasing as a product for customers, like that you think has paid off in a non-obvious way?
That's a hard one. I think just going back to, we started like early adoption with AI because we saw the promise. I would say when we were experimenting, things didn't look like production grade day one. And there was like this transition period of like pre-AI security and then the post-AI security. But as the models improved and as the tooling improved and as the capabilities improved, and there's a natural switch to like, okay, now you can have AI do a lot more seamlessly, so you're not like starting fresh, as an example.
Are you trusting AI to do remediation or patching or anything that like, the previous iterations of the world wouldn't have trusted?
Yeah. I wouldn't say like 100%, but I think AI's ability to reason, to reproduce, to validate with a multi-model set of tooling, I think it's getting pretty close to like how humans would do these things anyway.
It will be interesting. I was having dinner with someone last week where they said, okay, if 99% of our code is being produced agentically, and then 99% is reviewed agentically, we may as well patch it agentically.
Yeah. I think you have to have the right guardrails and testing harnesses and your ability to understand like what AI is doing in your environment. I think if you have the good solid foundations, if you have the right controls, if you have validation mechanisms, I think you can make AI do that hard work for you.
Yeah. Are you a buy or a build shop?
I would say a hybrid. I think there's Vercel is a tooling company, and obviously for a tooling company, we tend to build a lot, but we also buy. So I would say like it's a hybrid, and it's a healthy hybrid.
Yeah. It's interesting that between V0 or any of the frontier labs, AI can be used to produce a lot of product. There's a vernacular or a phrase going around Silicon Valley that software is dead, which I'm not sure I entirely buy into.
I don't agree.
But do you think that a vast majority of these security tools could be vibe coded or should be vibe coded?
No, I think there's category of stuff you
You're not
can
seeing yourself vibe code CrowdStrike?
Yeah, no, or vibe code Okta from
or Okta.
Exactly, right? So I think going back to there is value in like tools which provide, a service which is like system of record or like your core tooling, right? And there's category of software which if all you were doing is like providing some workflow on top of a system of record, I think those tools will get disrupted like very easily or quickly. And with AI, you need like new investment in new areas, right? I mean, when you think about things like runtime security or even identity security, I mean, the core primitives and the core problems still exist. You need to authenticate humans, you need to authorize access, but with AI, that problem has gone very complex because now you have agents working on your behalf, which have a different types of life cycle, right? So you need a different lens to the same identity problem.
I mean, we've seen it play out in, we sold Asterix more recently. But yeah, it's been amazing to watch kind of the new threat landscape and threat surface area increase. And I'll tell you, like, and I'm curious your opinion, you have kept up with it because you're at the bleeding edge of technology. Vercel is like one of the top companies in the world. But if you're at a large global 2000 company, it does feel like the threat vectors are coming faster than the solutions. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah. I think in some ways, yes. I think it goes back to if the companies who had like good, solid foundational things, if you were doing good in identity and access, if you were doing great in vulnerability management and patching, I think those foundations will help you scale faster. But if the fundamentals were already broken, then AI just makes it worse, right? How do you verify fraud? How do you do identity? How do you do well management? I think the foundations in core security help you operate faster. If
100%.
Yeah.
And have you felt like AI has moved the needle in your security org, or is it still more hype than substance?
No, by far. And we have like many examples, I think, from vulnerability research. We even open sourced a project, we call it DeepSeek. We open sourced it like 2 weeks ago. That's the vulnerability research harness. And we are using like, the tech can use like multi-models, but from the triangulation of discovery to validation to even like helping you analyze like your code base. It has moved the needle significantly. We started doing our detection and response with AI, what we call like the AI SOC.
And that's consuming logs and running threat hunting on them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like,
do you have a SIEM today?
I wouldn't say like a traditional SIEM like Splunk, but like we have our own logging detection pipeline. We again like Vercel offers observability. We also have a VAF and traffic security products. So by design, like we are sitting on a large amount of data that our customers run their production workloads on top. So using that data and building technology in an AI first way has improved the needle a lot. And in some areas, even like non-conventional ways, like how we do GRC, vendor risk management, identity and access.
The AI, GRC in the code makes sense. How are you doing identity and access?
Yeah, I think a lot of reasoning around like access and the right size access.
Should someone
and, like,
use
even some of the harder problems are what I would call process problems. You're trying to find owners and chasing owners of like who owns this piece of code and who owns this service and who owns this app. So like I'm trying to like automate a lot of the grunt work of process. I think I can help you reason and build those things much faster.
Cool. And we live in Silicon Valley, so we kind of run on hype. But what in your mind is overhyped in kind of AI security, or and then kind of the inverse? Is there anything that's underhyped? Too many VCs.
I think I wouldn't say like overhyped, but like the belief that AI can solve all the problems. I think there is a certain amount of trust and validation and outsourcing you can do on the LLM brains today. You still have to do additional work. Like AI is, non-deterministic by nature, right? And there are categories of problems where you need like high determinism. You need like a lot more validation. You need a lot more confidence and truth to the coverage, as an example. So I think the way I think about this, like AI augments and supports and improves your tooling. And yeah, I mean, models are improving and technology is improving, and obviously it's taking on more and more, and even entering areas that were traditionally hard for like security teams to do, scale, coverage, things of those nature.
Yeah, we're seeing, kind of broadly speaking, that like AI is helping organizations do things that they could do in the past but didn't have either the people or the bandwidth to go do.
Correct. I think you can obviously, with the right tooling and the right structure and the right capabilities, yeah, you can scale your security program like much faster.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, if the business is adopting AI, like there's no other way to do it.
Yeah. It was so interesting, when Mythos dropped, and the entire cyber market dropped 20%.
Yeah.
And I would talk to your peers. It's like, so are we gonna vibe code, CrowdStrike, and Octane? It's like, no. It's like, okay. It's like, That's there's a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean, we still use, and like I said, we partner with tier 1 security companies to help us solve like a number of problems. We partner with Socket on open source malware. We partner with Wiz on cloud security. We use Okta. I'm not replacing any of these with a vibe coded platform anytime soon.
Yeah. Do you think the persona or the background of the team that you will hire in the future will similarly be the same? Will it be kind of people historically cyber? Will it be different? Will it be engineers?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like majority of my team is software engineers building tools. So it's builders for various reasons. I mean, for a company that builds technology and builds tools by design, like I want my team and the tools that we also build are practitioner tools used by developers, open source community. We are an infrastructure provider. We provide vibe coding tech. So by design, those tools, those capabilities, those plugins, those skills, they're all meant for developers. We have non-engineer personas too that support various functions, GRC, privacy, policy and controls, but even those profiles tend to like leverage AI to build and automate their work, as an example.
Yeah.
I think where the market is moving, the talent density will increase, and expertise around AI, infrastructure, security, and our bar by design is higher because we want all the best people working, at Vercel. So
so do we.
Then the rest of the world can benefit from the tools that we release.
It was always so interesting. Pre-AI, if we can even remember that. The security threats were going exponentially, but the number of people were not. So it was like eventually something had to break. And like now, maybe we'll kind of match the threats, or at least try and catch up with the threats with AI.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the way I describe this, I'm a short-term pessimist and a long-term optimist. The reason I'm a short-term pessimist is I think we are...
Because you know too much?
No. Well, we're also looking at this tension of like, yes, I mean, AI can be used by defenders, but it's also being used by the offenders, right? And now, the barrier of entry of somebody just leveraging some AI tech to go cause havoc has, decreased.
Oh, totally.
Right? So that's what you're, seeing in terms of attack surface and fraud and abuse, but also different classes of attacks, like the velocity has gone faster, the scale has gone bigger. But I think industry is catching up, and more of the defenders are building more tools to help.
Yeah, it's never been more obvious to me that the defenders need to have access and use next generation technology.
Correct.
Like I was talking to someone at a Frontier lab many weeks ago, and then we were talking about distillation attacks and how, if nation states could get access to Frontier models, they could then use it to attack the US. And the age-old saying is like, attackers only have to be right once, defenders have to be right 100% of the time. Like, kind of feels like table stakes now.
Yep.
If you can get distillation attack of a Frontier model and use it to attack.
I mean, you have, the better models you have and the better tech you have, I mean, you obviously have an edge.
Yeah. And as you think about all the pitches you get of all the AI security vendors, of all these things, like, if you were in my shoes, or if you were kind of as an advisor to these companies, where would you tell the next AI security founder to build? Like, what in your mind is kind of the one or two biggest problems in the future?
I think any answer I give you now may get stale a month from now or 2 months from now.
Indeed.
I think the way I coach founders is meet where the practitioners are at, go talk to them, look at their workflows. I mean, there's obviously a ton of innovation you could do in a post-AI world around disrupting category of security, technologies that have existed. I think top of mind for me, supply chain, identity and access, core AI security, governance. Those are definitely areas where there are gazillion companies trying to solve this problem, but the market is changing, right? And I think going back to like be close to the practitioner and see what problems they are having.
And I tell it's funny. Maybe because I parrot what you say. I tell the entrepreneurs we meet, go towards the practitioners, find the problem, and then we could talk about the solution. Their feedback is practitioners get bombarded by vendors. I can never get to the practitioner, and that's your grace for your time, spending time with us and our teams. But like, once they finally get in front of you, I'm sure you get tons of good pitches and bad pitches. Like, what separates the good from the bad?
I mean, my view is more like, again, dev-centric and, from the lens of like Vercel and Vercel customers. So my answer is more in line of, you have to be close to the practitioner. You can try to sell me all day long, but like if the practitioners don't use you or love you or can integrate into their workflow, like me, I can nudge my team to go look at a vendor, but they will not adopt it if it doesn't fit seamlessly into the job they're trying to do, right? So I think it's both. Like, you build for the practitioner. A practitioner could be, it doesn't mean a developer. It could be the actual user of your product. Like, that's 99% of the time is not the CISO. Like, I'm not using the product.
Totally.
My practitioners are. And then I think from value perspective, like, I can coach them on like, hey, here is how to think about the space. Here is where our priority is. Here's directionally where we are headed, and here's where the industry is. So they have to be like agile and have to like catch these signals across like various dimensions. But there's a ton of opportunity out there.
It's unfortunate reality is that you, not like us, have just tons of noise and tons of different people coming in and out. As you think about the new org, and as you've released V0 and you have the WAF product and you have kind of all these other products, like, is there a threat vector that keeps you up at night? Is that just unique to Vercel, or is it unique to like all companies that look and sound like Vercel?
Yeah, I think from trust perspective, we see us as an infrastructure provider, right? We are an infrastructure provider that is for the web to run and build like their modern AI apps and agents. So from risk perspective and threat perspective, like, yes, we want to be the most trustworthy AI platform on planet. That's the North Star. And that's what we keep working on every single day. And from threat perspective, yes, I mean, you have a variety of risk and threat vectors out there, like supply chain, criminals, hacktivists, nation states. They're all trying to go after what builds Vercel and Vercel customers. And our North Star is to like try and build like the most trustworthy platform. So I wouldn't say like here's like something unique to Vercel. It's when you look at the market and like draw parallels, like what you would expect of an infrastructure provider or like modern AI companies, which also have an open source and an internet scale footprint.
Crazy. You didn't pick an easy job.
Yeah. It's also exciting.
It is super exciting. And security is like such a fascinating industry. It is one of the few worlds where you work with your peers at fellow companies that you know. Unlike sales, it's not zero sum. Like we're against the nation states, the attackers. What advice or what do you share with your peers that you want to get out to the world? What's a good piece of advice or that you think about sharing with the community?
Yeah, I think on the defense side, I think threat sharing, intelligence sharing all the great work, many companies.
And you think we should do more of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there are classes of companies with like high talent density, and they're at the forefront of AI. And some companies like do this and they go and speak and they release publicly. But I think like talking about solving like hard industry problems and like sharing what they're doing, I think that's definitely keeps the industry going. I think other than that, like I think we're all in this together to fight the bad guys.
Many years ago, we sound old, but not that old. Dropbox and then Segment were considered like the blue chip security organizations in the Valley. More recently, I like truly believe Vercel is one of those organizations where people look up to it as like, this is what good looks like. Are there any other organizations out there that you say, okay, this is like an amazing security org, something you should look to?
Yeah, I mean, I think cloud providers, frontier lab model companies, security companies. I wouldn't name one because then I have to pick my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I won't hold you to it.
There's category of companies that are open about their security program and they release open source tooling and they talk about threat actors and they share intelligence. I think they are definitely at the forefront of some of the work that protects the web, and we try to do our part in that as well.
Do you still think the BlackHat conference is relevant for sharing like all these issues?
Yeah, I mean it's a glamorous. It's like one of the largest conferences. I say like each conference has its position. Some are more vendor heavy, some are practitioner heavy.
Like, do you send people to BlackHat to talk?
Yeah, I mean we had like we release. I think like there's value in it is the largest conference and you do get attention and there's a lot of coverage on top. So I think from stuff that we build in open source and stuff we talked about, I think there's value there, but there's also value in smaller conferences too where you get to network and learn. I mean, I'm a big fan of B-Sides. I've volunteered at B-Sides.
I love B-Sides.
Built for practitioners, and then there are like vertical specific conferences. Like we have somebody going to TrustCon from our team to talk about trust and safety as an example.
I won't make you set a line and you'll have a booth at RSA.
Yeah. I mean, some of that is like business decisions, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm super grateful for your time, so I won't hold you too long. But like, as we kind of think about the last kind of couple of questions, but who are the CISOs or operators that you feel like you learn the most from or you most admire?
There's a lot. I mean, I grew learning from my peers and the community. I think the Bay Area CISO community. I read like every single blog, Phil Venables have written on risk and security. Caleb Seema has done a lot of great work recently around AI and the Cloud Security Alliance. So I mean, there's too many names to name. But definitely these people have, I read, a little, but also practitioners. I think the TLDR, newsletter is one of my favorite ones.
Very good
as an
job,
example. So.
And then from your own point of view, I won't hold you to this, but like, do you feel like you have a controversial take as a CISO or an executive that most of your peers would disagree with as we talk about kind of functioning in the community?
I don't know, like something like deeply controversial. I think generally like the more seasoned, I mean, we have disagreements here and there on like minor items, but I don't know if I have a major controversy.
It's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
As we're like group thinking against the attackers. Yeah. And then maybe like last couple of questions. What do you think is the most underrated skill that is your other peer companies that are up and coming following Vercel interviewing for CISOs? What is the most underrated skill for modern CISOs that they should think about and be aware of?
Yeah, I think the translation of technology risk in business terms, influencing without authority, I think is a big one. Keeping up with the pace of AI and how the market is changing. Don't be the Department of No. Help enable the business in the right risk decisions.
Do you think people don't hire CISOs early enough? Like if you think about the AI companies going 0 to a billion. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah. I mean, that's I would say yes, but I think more than CISO, it's thinking earlier in building the right security foundations.
Yeah.
CISO may not always be the best answer of like, hey, let me hire a CISO. I mean, it's obviously it's good to hire a more seasoned person that can build the team in an org, but what I've seen the mistake made more is not investing in the security guardrails upfront and then waiting for like, hey, a CISO will come and fix like years of debt.
Yeah. Shocker. You like ignore it for years and all of a sudden please fix everything. So you guys as CISOs, not magicians. I find that so true. We constantly meet amazing companies, especially in the modern era, growing so fast. And then suddenly they're selling to the largest organizations in the world. And they're like, yeah, we don't really have anyone focused on security. And I'm just like, mind blown.
Yeah, I think for a lot of enterprise SaaS companies, their first signal of security is when their customers start asking them about SOC 2. And they're like, okay, now I need to hire somebody that knows how to do compliance and risk and security.
But compliance and security, at least in my mind, are different. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, they're different for cause, right?
And unfortunately, it doesn't feel like there's like an easy button for security, right? You've kind of just got to focus on it, commit to it, have people involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's trust but verify. It's showing your security posture with open, transparent controls and enabling your customer to be able to deploy and use your product securely. So it's a combination of things.
Yeah. I don't have an answer to this, but it's something that I've grappled with. Is like, is it a percentage of headcount? Is it a percentage of revenue? Like, how much of, call it a scale up, should if you're 500 people, how many people should be in the security org?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right way to look at it. Okay. Companies should invest in security and headcount based on their risk profile and their needs, and that dial can go up and down based on the business needs. I think. You don't go to Amazon and say, how many people are you hired for security, right? It's when you want to be a security company, you want to look like a trusted platform. It's making sure like your teams are set up the right way with the right capabilities and investing in the right areas, and you work with the business in like prioritization. But I think headcount as a percentage of company headcount or security budget as a percentage of tech budget, I think that's the wrong way of looking at like benchmarks, because every company is different and their risk thresholds will be different and their compliance needs might be different. I think it's helpful to like just benchmark some for like as a data point, but
CEOs ask me because as I lead our cyber practice here, they say, okay, how much money should we be spending on cyber? And I'm like, I don't know, probably more than you're currently spending. If you're asking me that question,
exactly, or you'll spend more money after you get a breach.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah, they always are like, oh yeah, my peer got breached, I gotta go fix everything. I'm like, it's not an answer.
Yeah, it's not an answer. Yeah.
But fortunately, I think for you and I, the conversation like, will the CISO role exist in 5 to 10 years, or will security be more or less important? Feels like both yes, it'll exist, and security will be more important.
Yeah, I mean, it will go through a healthy maturation of the program. I think more the security teams, at least the more mature ones, they'll absorb more AI security governance and work. I think if you go back 10 years, CISOs and security orgs look different, and the industry has matured. For tech companies, they need to be more forward-looking and then engineering-driven, for sure. But I think the role will change as other engineering roles have also changed. And the role evolves to be like more of a business enabler, balancing risk and security, and the company.
Do you think the CIO and CISO role will merge over time or get further apart?
It has already. I think if you look at least not even new, like in the last 5-6 years, a lot of CISOs manage IT organizations and tech organizations, along with other functions as well. So that change has already happened. I think in larger companies, they may still have a CIO, but when you look at the distribution and the governance of technology between the CTO and the CIO and the CISOs, those shifts have already happened. Like even when I was at HashiCorp, like you would look at the buyer for a lot of dev tools was not the CIO.
Yeah.
In some companies it was, but in some
Definitely
companies
not,
it was
yeah.
the platform team, which was driving the cloud modernization as an example.
And I think it's partly because of what you said. Like the great security executives are technical, product-minded, and business-oriented.
Yeah.
And so it's not a shock that they've
yeah.
all kind of merged in roles.
Yeah, and your product may look different. I mean, if you're healthcare, it could be different. If you are utilities, it could be different. But like, it's what your company is and what you're selling and what you're trying to protect. You have to be closer to that.
I mean, you have just been in and around some of the best companies in the Valley for a long time and interacted with, I'm sure, companies from ideation stage to Wiz, as you mentioned. As you think about interacting and think about early stage companies, what is some practical advice that you have for the founders out there that maybe are not in security but are thinking about security as they get started with their business?
Yeah, I think the first advice I would give is, yes, people are trying to build a product, finding product market fit, ideation, moving fast, but build security. Don't try to put security as an afterthought. And the reason I say that is, one, if you want to get customers and you want those customers to trust you with your product, with your data, your serious customers want to be able to trust your product and product. I think that's the big one. The second one, I mean, in terms of just trends that you'll see, like there's a lot of stuff getting built on AI and open source and vibe coded products, which are also using, learnings from open source. And the threat activity has just gone like super high. Like go back, just starting this year, like every week there's a compromise of like a major open source package, right? So you can't protect yourself if you don't have good hygiene and how you consume these supply chains and how do you do identity and access.
But where should people start?
Yeah, I mean, go read the internet, but like one of the things, a bunch of my fellow security peers and practitioners, we actually work together on a project. We call it Security for Startups. You can look it up, and we publish guidance on like Series A, seed, Series B, Series C companies on what do we consider to be like the top 10 things they should think about. So it's like free CISO guidance from years of learning of what we've seen worked well in the companies we worked at when we were starting these programs from scratch, and it's free already out there. There's actually even a Slack
your
channel.
jobs easier.
Yeah, exactly. We understand like not everybody can hire like a security engineer when you're a 2-person product, but just looking at that guidance and seeing like what's the top 5 things I could do, like make sure I have MFA and single sign-on and my devices are protected and my browsers are patched, and when I'm using open source projects, like what are the kind of signals I should be.
And some of this all isn't like crazy money.
Yeah.
It's just basic hygiene, basic practices.
Yeah.
You guys have put in the effort to go out there and give it to the world.
Exactly. So it's out there and there's many volunteer people who are willing to help.
And one more time, what is it?
Yeah, it's called Security for Startups.
Okay, great.
With a 4, number 4.
Okay, awesome. Amazing. Well, I actually will also make sure all of our companies get access to that.
Totally.
Otherwise, we will probably have some problems in the future.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys putting that together for everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Well, deeply, deeply thankful for your time.
Not at all.
And just
pleasure to be here.
Everything that you've done for Vercel and the entire security community. And thank you for everything, and I'm sure we'll continue to do this.
Thank you, James, for the partnership, and thanks for CRV for investing in some of the great security companies we use.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
all right.
Sure.
Bye.
Thank you.